please read the description of the broadcast as well, as usual, just to kind of like get yourself, you know, ready and in tune to what we are going to be sharing this, or what I'll be sharing this afternoon. It is an open mic, meaning you can phone in anytime as well. Use that too. So let's start with their politics. Few days ago, PDP announced that they have zoned their 2027 presidential ticket to the southern part of Nigeria. And what many call a kind of like a late, decision. And this itself has been generating reactions. The smart ones can see the mischief behind it, and some said, well, it is better late than never. How they are going to now pull it off is what many are waiting to see. However, Wike is yet to actually make a statement. For those who understands the crisis in their party and why, and those behind it, you can possibly remember that Wike is a key factor in that their wahala. So some are now saying that since they seem to be trying to put their house in order, the best way is not only to try to elect their new leadership and others, right, in preparation for their 2027. Or about the saboteurs who have been sabotaging their party since 2022. Abba Moro happened to be one of their key stakeholders. So it was with Sheung yesterday, where the same question popped up. If you are telling Nigerians that the PDP is putting his house in order and will be pretty much ready to play the opposition role in your 2027 charade. So how about the obvious crack, anti-party, those who appear to be kind of like bigger than your party? And we have those who are already saying that those who are doing anti-party in their party should be punished, disciplined, and others. Again, all of these are coming from the aftermath of the announcement of zoning their presidential ticket to the south. Everyone knows that Wike is currently enjoying the partnership he sort of like struck with Tifnumbu because of this same PDP crisis. So PDP can resolve their issue, and I mean without it affecting Wike. So Abba Moro feels like, yeah, people were upset and they worked against their party in 2023. Disciplining them right now is completely unnecessary. In his own words, let's start with that.
I'm not happy with the FCT minister in the PDP, and they are saying that his lives are going to be punished. How do you do that?
Well, let me say this without sounding like a broken record. All the hues and cries about discipline, discipline, they're unnecessary at this point in time. We are coming out of a disastrous election. 2023 certainly was the worst year for PDP as a political party when election results are concerned. And the choices before us is whether we should wield the big stick or go on the path of reconciliation. And it was decided that these two things can go pari passu with themselves. Try to reconcile as much as possible. Try also to discipline if you can. And in the run-out of 2023, a lot of things happened. A lot of things happened. People were genuinely aggrieved. Whether they carry the grievances too far is another thing altogether. And on this program, I had cause to reference the 2024 election in America. And very many prominent Republican Party members openly canvassed for votes for the Democratic Party candidate, Kamala Harris. And I asked this question: where was the cry, the hues and cries and the agitations for punishment for those persons in the Republican Party that work for the Democratic Party? You wouldn't hear anything like that. In Nigeria, it's anti-party, discipline, and the rest of them. And our people have the same. You make a fire, a bonfire, you say one stick of the fire, bonfire, is making smokes. You remove it. You remove the other one. You remove the other one. The smoke won't stop. You keep removing until you remove all the wood.
So punishing Wike is not a priority.
I mean, why is it always about Wike and the rest of them? Because we all know that obviously what Wike did, some other persons in the party did. We had a G5, for instance. The person who is going to run for president now in the party, Sheyi Makinde, was a member of the G5. Governor Autumn, who today is a board of trustee member from Benue State, was a member of the G5. Governor Ogwanyi, who was in the NEC meeting yesterday, was a member of the G5. Why is anybody not talking about all these other personalities and all of us that apparently somehow, one way or the other, didn't fall into the line of the party? Why is anybody not mentioning any other person? So I want to feel that the Wike Saga is an unnecessary distraction that we can avoid if we have to forge a common fund towards the 2027 election.
I have less than 60 seconds to close this program, Senator. But there is a problem. Funding might be a very great problem for your party. The usual suspect funding sources for your party, Delta, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, all of these parties have now been lost to the APC. How would you source for funding?
All of these parties, Sheyi, that you are talking about now, we're in PDP and we lost election.
So it doesn't matter.
Politics and elections are not necessarily all about money. There are other factors, other germane factors that are responsible for elections than the issue of money.
All right. Senator Abba Moro, Senate Minority Leader, as always a pleasure.
Abba Moro. He's a wicked guy, and they are Tifnumbu's guys too. You know, so they're going to put everybody in that confused state, right? To make you think probably they know what they are doing. No. Okay, maybe they do know what they are doing, but they are PDP, people deceiving people. Where Wike openly worked against his party. They said it's because they cheated him. And you know something here, it's called preferential treatment, right? If you see poor man Peking, way fat, they go call him horrible and that, yeah? But the big man Peking, they will say maybe he has a food disorder and they will call him a biggie, put a fancy stuff on it. When a poor man displays anger or displeasure, they go say he get anger problem. But when a rich man, Peking, they break things and all of that, they go say na tantrum. He's just throwing some tantrum. Where Wike openly worked against his own party, he is not ashamed of it. He has no regret. He said he would do it again. And right now, it is called conflict of interest. Where Wike used his position as the Minister of FCT and orchestrated a plot to demolish his own political party's headquarters in this whole Wahala. Where Wike and his men instituted hundreds of court cases against his party to ensure that it is legally crippled to challenge Tifnumbu. They all know that. But what everyone is doing right now is to negotiate their own personal deal and pretend that they are still in PDP. People deceiving people. Then they mentioned good luck Egbere Jolantan. You know, they are planning to get Jolantan to join, which is in itself also Tifnumbu's propaganda. No, Tinubu's propaganda and handiwork. Peter Obi come back to PDP is also Tinubu's handiwork, because everyone now that is trying to get Obi back on one hand, or have Obi to join them and is obedient. On one hand, they are happy to have all of that. On the second hand, it is believed that Obi's only condition of joining anybody is once you are going to give him the presidential ticket. If you are not going to give him presidential ticket, it's not likely that it's going to have to. The obedient are saying that it is Obi or nothing. So he can't turn back and go to them and say, guys, I'm sorry, you just have to go with this person and all of that. Sure, you get. So it is then believed that the both trap is that if Obi goes back to their PDP, an already compromised party, right? So if he is not schemed out during their, their primaries, as they say, delegate primaries, then it will just be to further humiliate him inside that PDP, sort of. Because if PDP feel that Peter Obi, this PDP, you know what will happen. Anyway, Sha. So his own answer to that is that, yeah, people have been trying to talk to them, but their party has not made any official contact, so to say, a formal contact.
Of course, to lose a very monumental election in that disastrous manner, as it were, certainly is something for regrets.
But tell me, Senator, quickly, before I forget, Peter Obi, have you been able to speak with him as a party? Is he coming back?
No, as a party, we have not spoken to Peter Obi, but you recall also that in the run-up to 2023, the expectation was that the ticket of the PDP was going to go to the South. And somehow, for reasons of fairness, people thought that the Southeast, having not produced a candidate for a major political party like that, would definitely have fielded a Southeast candidate. And obviously, it was Peter Obi that ordinarily would have picked the ticket. So, in anger, in frustration, Peter Obi left the PDP. And so, in the run-up to 2027, I'm aware that certain individuals have been talking to Peter Obi, hey, come back home. This is what we are likely going to do. And if you come, you stand a chance of being a candidate.
What are the possibilities of Peter Obi returning to the PDP?
Also, in politics, nothing is certain. I've always said that in politics, 2 plus 2 is not 4. And so, and these are matters of interest. And when it comes to existential interest from a community of persons within a geopolitical zone, it is possible.
But those who are talking to Peter Obi, how far with that conversation?
Well, the conversation is predicated on the belief by such individuals that if Peter Obi comes back and he is the most favored candidate, the most supported candidate, and becomes a candidate, the PDP will make an impact in the 2027 election.
So with Peter Obi, if he's on the ballot in the name of the PDP, there is almost an assurance for the PDP. Is that the feeling on the inside?
Of course, that's the feeling.
Are you part of the party talking to Peter Obi?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But I can tell you for free that, of course.
So in Nigeria politics, they used to tell their supporters that there is no permanent enemies, no permanent friends in politics, only permanent interest. And guess what? This was the tricky, fraudulent race that the criminal politicians in Nigeria have been using to get the mumus and the mugus that listen to them and believe what they say to believe what they are saying. In politics, there's no permanent friends or permanent enemy. You can be friends with this one today, and you can be enemies with that one tomorrow, and blah, 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 blah. Men without principle or morality whatsoever. Because to them, there is no ideology. They are all the same. What drives them is their greed, their selfishness, and anything can change. You see, when you have an organization where rules, like a rule-based organization or political party, where ideologically this is what even attracted you to them, and that ideology is what everybody is building to nurture, to kind of like, make flourish. But that is not what you have in that contraption. Maybe there is one thing, and that's what they all have in common. It is just to get closer to the cooking jar, the cookie jar, right? And see how they can privatize it for themselves and their families. That is the only thing that drives them. That's why somebody who is PDP now can be APC, can be AD. In fact, it can even be PDP and be working with APC, AD and the rest of them, because they have something that unites all of them. Their greed. Some said that Peter B has the money. Some that he doesn't have the money, like all these guys who are sharing money to buy the delegates, right? But because the system says that you have to give money to the delegates, and they are not really forgiven whenever they skip that delegate part. That's the reason why those guys in Labour Party are still so angry. Especially they felt like they were played, because after they collected whatever amount of money they gave to them, right, and whatever they were promised, they realized that a person that they do deal with is not going to be like their regular politician who can say, write how much you want on paper, I will pay you, sort of. So it is the moments every party official actually looks forward to. The moment that they are ready to allow drug dealers, human traffickers, treasury looters, name it, to become representatives of political parties in an election, because all it takes is money. You pay them and you try to outpay your opponent, right? So people say that it's not because they have the money, but it's because he just won't give it. He would rather go and share the money to these schools and you construct boreholes for areas without water and all that, rather than put the money together and give it to these roaches, these vermins. But to PDP, there is more to their zoning, depends on how you are looking at it. Here is supposed their spokesperson, I think, on the matter.
Those premises so interesting. You talk about ICU, you talk about a person. But let me make a background to you. That the People's Democratic Party is about the People's Democratic Party, and no one individual is above that party, and no one individual owns that party. But I haven't put that premise right. But let me get back to the first comment about what Senator, the former governor of Benue State, said, Susan, that the PDP was in ICU. The party was never in ICU. Do we have challenges? Yes, we do. Just like every human organization or every human being we do. But what came out from all the recent recalibration of the party is the fact that this party has capacity at the appropriate time to come back up and sort its own internal affairs. And that tells you the capacity of any organization that is worth its name, that in challenging period, you can't step back and reorganize yourself, and that's what the PDP is doing. And that's why Nigerians are so excited about what's happening within the PDP. We have the organs, we have the bodies, we have members that are determined to ensure that democracy does not fail in this country and that we don't slip into a one-party state. And that's what you saw in the recent past and what is going to be up to the convention about the capacity of the PDP to, at appropriate time, step up the plate and do that which is right. Secondly, when you talk about vindication of an individual, what the party has done, like you said, that hindsight is 2020. As a party after 2023 elections and the challenges that came up with it, what we have done is to review our processes, speak to ourselves, find out where we were, what caused it, and like a post-mortem,